Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. It's another wonderful day, and I'm super happy that you're here with me at the Lotus Richey Ignite Coaching and Consulting Show. Let me tell you, I've got an incredible guest, another incredible guest today with us, and she's going to be giving us some wonderful tips about how to relieve stress. So many people are so stressed out amid what's going on with the pandemic, but also just everyday stressors of life. Are you with your children right now, and you usually are working outside of the home and the children are at school, and then the teachers are kind of dealing with them and keeping track on them, and bam, the pandemic happened and you were forced to just stay home with your children because your job said, hey, go ahead and work at home, and you were quite surprised to find out what the teachers are dealing with? Well, that could be quite stressful. And my guest today is going to help you with some tips and strategies to overcome your stress, because she is definitely the stress relief queen, and you're going to meet her. So don't wait. Get your notepad and get your pen, because she's going to come on in. But before she comes in, I need you to come in. So come on in and get in where you fit in. And as you can see, I have plenty of room all around my table. You are invited. I have room for you because you can get in where you fit in right here around my table. So come on in. And if you haven't, go ahead and tell a friend to go ahead, grab somebody that they know, grab a perfect stranger. Don't just grab a friend or family. Grab a friend and also grab a frenemy. Why not? And bring them on to the broadcast. So as you come on in. Hey there, Lori A. McNeil. Good to see you. Lori, tell us where you're coming from. Go ahead and jot down there where you're joining us from. And go ahead, and if you have not already, share, like, and start a watch party. Why? Because somebody out there, under the sound of my voice and under the sound of my guest voice, needs to hear this message. So come on in. And I'm going to tell you about my friend and my co-author. She's just amazing. Every time I turn around, she's doing something incredible. When the pandemic first started, she was already teaching people how to deal with stress effectively. And then she kicked it up a notch and she started helping children. It was like we were thinking the same thing. We called our friend Medea and said, listen, let us read your books to children, because we understood that there was going to be some issues because the children were at home and many of us were not used to having our children at home during the day. And she started doing that, and she started teaching people other ways, other great strategies to help them deal with their children being home. So today you're going to learn a lot about how to relieve your own stress and how to relieve your children's stress. So let's get right into the broadcast. You're going to love her. Go ahead, like, share, and start a watch party. Here we go. Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. Amazing. Hey there. How you doing?
Hello.
Welcome.
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Lotus.
All right. I'm so happy that you're here. Folks, this is my wonderful guest. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a mindset coach. This is none other than the remarkable Melissa Ross. Welcome to the show, Melissa. And can you please tell us where you hail from and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. I am from Niagara Falls, Canada. Thank you so much for having me, Lotus. I'm so happy to be here today. I am a mindset coach. I am the founder of my wellness business, Rise to Wellness, and I am also a children's yoga instructor and founded Breathe With Me Yoga, which is specifically a yoga studio just for children. So I've been running that for 5 years now, and we've been teaching children how to de-stress and meditate and take care of their bodies. It's quite exciting. I'm not hearing you, Lotus.
I got it. Here we go. Thank you so much. I was saying that I'm super amazed and happy to be connected with you. Why? Because you're always doing so many things that are so innovative, and you help people help themselves to really ignite and take flight and take control of their life in every facet of life. So as you know, folks, many of us were super stressed out when the pandemic first happened. But so many of us were already dealing with stress. And I could only imagine how many people you were seeing in your own practice that were dealing with stress. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the things you were seeing before the pandemic?
Absolutely. And I deal with families. I coach a lot of families because I see stress and anxiety in the children that come into my yoga classes. And I find that when the children are stressed out and they're full of anxiety, parents are stressed out and full of anxiety as well. So I actually coach children and their families together. And I've been doing that before the pandemic hit, mainly with yoga, with meditation, with breathing, with gratitude journals. I get all of my clients, big and small, talking about gratitude and journaling their gratitudes every day, and I get them all meditating. But the big thing, is anxiety that we see in children. And, most times that anxiety in those little kids, I have 8-year-olds coming in and telling me they're stressed out and they're full of anxiety at school.
Yes.
That anxiety exists in their parents too. And they're seeing that behavior happening and they're learning that behavior. And that's something that we've really been working on. I've been working on with all of my clients since before the pandemic hit.
And I applaud you for doing that, because for many years I've coached as well as counseled people, and it's astonishing to have an 8-year-old child to say, Miss Lotus, I'm depressed. That's just a vernacular that I had not heard in a young child many years ago. I had never heard that, but the dynamics of what our children are facing today has diversely changed from when you and I were children, which wasn't long ago, y'all. Okay. So it's just changed so much, and we need people who understand the dynamics and really show the children, hey, we hear you, we understand. Because I don't know, Melissa, I think when it first happened, I was hearing a lot of people talk about the adults being stressed out and adults. And I didn't hear many people talking about the children being stressed out. So with that being said, I really would love to talk about how you help adults identify the stressors and help them deal with them and overcome the stress.
Yeah. And the first thing we do actually is we start with gratitude and journaling, and we start looking at mindset. Because our mindset really affects how our body reacts and how we look at circumstances and how we react to different circumstances. Yes. So we react to circumstances in a stressful way or in anger and in frustration if we're not in a positive mindset and if we're not practicing gratitude. And a great way to do that, to practice that positive mindset, is to speak affirmations every day. I am affirmations every day. And every single day, write 3 gratitudes, 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. And I do that at night. I have my kids do it every night before bed. They write down 3 gratitudes in their journal. And as an adult, I write a full page of everything that I'm grateful for that day. And it could be small, it could be big, it doesn't matter what it is. My kids will write Kleenex if they have a cold. And whatever it is that happened that day, or that was a good thing, a positive thing that happened to you that day that you're grateful for, because that really sets the tone for a good sleep. And it really sets the tone for your next morning. When you have that journal right there beside you, you can pick up that journal. And if you're not waking up in a positive mindset and with gratitude, that journal is right there for you to read and remind yourself of all of the amazing things that happened the day before and the new slate that's ahead of you today. So
I concur.
I really stress that journaling and that gratitude with parents and children.
Awesome. And speaking of gratitude, I'd love to send out some gratitude for Dr. Elliot Heflin. Hey, Dr. Heflin, let us know where you're coming in from. It's great to see you. Dr. Heflin was on my show, and God, he rocked the house. You know, he is a guru of robotics, and it was great to have him on here. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let us know where you're coming in from. And the remarkable Phyllis Weaver, good to see you. She said hello. And she also talked about her journaling as well. And there's Sean. Sean, hey, from Ohio. Good to see you. And let's see. Phyllis Weaver said that she said, hello, ladies. Journaling helps a lot. And I got to tell you, when I was in Japan, I had clients, and one of the first things that I had them do as a part of their treatment process was to journal. And journaling is so powerful because oftentimes when something's going on the inside, we may keep our mouths closed, but our hearts really know what's going on. And would you agree that when we journal, we really dig down deep and start writing out what's really going on, and it's a freeing effect?
Absolutely. And that's the next step to journaling. So you start with a gratitude journal, and then you start journaling those feelings. And what starts to happen is we're actually more open than we would be when we talk to somebody else. Because when we're talking to somebody else, we're still in the back of our head, even though we trust them and they're our best friends, or they might be our spouse, or our parents, somebody we've known for 20 years, still in the back of our head, we have that little thought like they might judge. They might judge what I have to say or what I'm feeling. And we don't do that when we're journaling, because we know it's our personal journal. We know it's ours. We know nobody else is reading it. And we will write everything because we know that nobody's reading it and judging it. Even if I said, I'm so angry, I wanted to hit that person, nobody's going to judge us for having those feelings because nobody else is reading it. It's just ours, and it allows us to get those feelings out. But what it also allows us to do is to go back and read it and reframe it. So if we have negative feelings that are going on, we can go back, we can read what those feelings are, and we can reframe that thinking and reframe what's going on, which is part of my coaching as well. I do coach people and teach people how to go back and reframe in their journaling.
I love it. And also another key point about journaling is that it creates a safe space for us, because oftentimes, as Melissa said, people don't come out and talk about what they're going through because they don't want to be judged. So that may be an unsafe space for some people, but in your journal, it's yours. It's your own. You own it. Not only do you own the journal, you own the life that you're writing and breathing into that journal, so that you can really vent and really exercise your right to take control of your life and give yourself a chance to overcome and deal with it. You know, Melissa, I always say you've got to deal with life, or life is going to deal with you. Journaling your feelings, doing I am affirmations, I think it's great. And also a positive mindset. It's just also great. Why? Because what your children see in you is what they're going to reflect, because they are a reflection of you. So if you've got a positive mindset and you are dealing with anxiety positively, your children are going to do the same thing. And I know you have kids of your own.
I do.
Right?
I have an 8-year-old daughter and 11-and-a-half-year-old son. And my son actually had anxiety at a very early age. He had just finished grade 1 when he had anxiety. And so he was about 6 years old.
Right.
And I recognized it because I had suffered from it. And so I really knew what to do. I had the experience with it, and I knew what it was. I knew how to help him.
Right.
And it was because I had gone through all of that and learned strategies to help myself that I was able to use those strategies with him and help him through it. And now today, I mean, he's a rock star when it comes to that. He has all of his strategies in place, and he knows at the tiniest little inkling, okay, I need to step back. And he does his journaling, or he'll go and say, okay, I'm going to go do my meditation now. because I'm having a stressful time or I'm feeling frustrated, I'm going to go do that. And
Yes.
he's even to the point at almost 12 years old that he'll recognize I missed my meditation today and now I'm feeling it, you know, or I missed it yesterday and I'm feeling it today. I'm maybe not going to miss my meditation again because I know it keeps me positive and it keeps me feeling well. So maybe that wasn't such a hot idea to miss it. He actually said to me the other night, it was bedtime. It was 8:30, 9 o'clock. And he asked permission to get his phone, to get his meditation app open because he knew he had missed it that day and he didn't want to miss it. He didn't want to go to bed without doing it.
And that's awesome because it's a tool. And these are tools that people can use in the middle of a crowded space to just stop in the moment and dig deep inside and get that tool. That tool may be counting from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, especially when you're very stressed and angry or having an anxiety attack. That often works, or even controlled breathing. So that's great. You've given them some tools, and I imagine you give all of your clients tools so that they can use in stressful situations. But also you talked about strategies. Strategies are critically important. Can you share with us why strategies are important to have?
Yeah, strategies are so important because, especially for kids, I mean, adults too, we all react to anxiety in the same way. But especially for kids, when you're in that moment and you don't know what to do and you don't know how to reframe and you're not sure what's going on, a strategy is something that's, you know, in your back pocket that either you remember or a parent can just say one word to remind you of that strategy. It could be reframing of something. So children with anxiety often will have phobias. They'll not want to go to a play date because my son didn't want to go to a play date or a party because there might be cake there and sweet cake might make his tummy feel off and that might give him anxiety. Right. So it was that off thinking where I shouldn't go because I might get sick and I might get anxiety. So reframing that and talking about what's the likelihood of that happening? Has that ever happened before? How many times has it happened? And then also talking about the worst case scenario. Well, what if it did happen? What would be the worst thing that could happen? And if the worst thing ever happened, what could we do to fix it? What strategy can we put in place that you always have in your back pocket in case that worst case scenario actually ever happened? And so there's lots of things, lots of different strategies that we can put in place with kids, depending on what kind of anxiety they're having and what they're experiencing. Tons of different things to put in place, depending on the child and depending on the adult. It works just the same for adults. I had the same strategies when I was recovering from postpartum depression and severe anxiety.
Wow, that's awesome. So as you know, folks, note takers are money makers. So if you haven't brought your notebook and your pen, go ahead and grab it right now. Ladies, if you only have your eyebrow pencil, use it, because the nuggets that Melissa is giving you right here in the now is going to help you not just tomorrow, but it's going to help you right here today to help change the trajectory of your life in so many wonderful ways. So with that being said, I hope you have something wonderful to drink. Let me see. I'm having lemon tea with lemon citron, and I'm going to take a sip. And while we take a sip, if you like what you've heard Melissa say, go ahead and put a number 2 in the comment block below. And then after I take a sip, I'm going to read some of your comments. I love it. So, Melissa, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking plain old water. Water is very, very healthy for you.
Yes, it is. I drink Azumia water. I don't know if you can see that. I drink Azumia water because it's hydrogenated water or hydrogenized water. It helps to permeate my cells a lot better, so that if I'm getting a little cold or anything like that, it helps my body to overcome it more quickly. So with that being said, we've got a few comments and we're going to take some comments. I want to say hey to so many folks that are still coming in. Of course, we got Sean out of Ohio. Good to see you. Angie out of Washington, D.C. And we have Simone. Hey, Simone. Simone had something she wanted to share with us. Simone's all the way out of Canada. So she says, children get depressed. I always preach about this on my live videos because this could really damage them if it's not dealt with the right way. Do not ignore the warning signs in your children. So, Simone, thank you for that comment. And that's a very true statement. So, I want to kick the ball over to you right quick, Melissa, because I really want to talk about that. And then we're going to take another comment. So, Melissa, what do you have to say about ignoring the warning signs and how critically important it is not to ignore the warning signs?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such an amazing statement, and I'm glad that Simone brought that up, because when we're watching for the signs of anxiety in children, we're looking for something different when we're looking for depression. When
Yes.
when children have anxiety, it comes out in so many different ways, and most times with little kids, they don't understand how to express that it is anxiety.
Yes.
So it comes out in behaviors. You actually
Hmm.
might think, oh, they've got behaviors. They're angry and they're hitting, or they're frustrated, or maybe they're crying, so they're sad about something. But a lot of those things that look like normal childhood behaviors are
Yes.
anxiety. So it's
Right.
important when we're looking at that to figure out, to look at what's going on in the child's life. Look at what's happening at school, look at what's happening at home, and is there anything that could be causing that stress, which in turn is causing those behaviors. But it's when those behaviors become so far past what might be considered normal, or what might be considered mainstream. So if we're looking at anger and they're hitting and maybe they're biting, or they're pinching their brother and sister, that's like a normal anger outburst. Or if we're looking at
Hmm.
crying and maybe they're punching a pillow, that's a normal outburst. But if we're looking at a child who is coming home every day from school, putting pajamas on, getting under a blanket, getting under their bed, and wanting to sit in the dark and not do anything, if we're looking at a child who never wants to go to see a friend or go to a birthday party, if we're looking at a child who's afraid to go to sleep at night because they might not wake up, afraid to eat a piece of food, a mushy strawberry, because it might kill them, when we're looking at things that are so far past what regular thinking would think. And I don't want to say normal, because it's not abnormal, it's just so far on the other side, right? If I eat a mushy strawberry, I might just say, oh, this is mushy. It doesn't taste that great when it's mushy. I don't like the texture. But if I have a child or an adult saying, I don't want to eat this mushy strawberry because the mush means that it might be bad and it might poison me and then I might die from this strawberry,
Hmm.
then we're going really too far beyond. And
Yes.
I'll tell you, I saw that in my son at some points. He was coming home and thinking that. And if our children are saying to us when they're getting in trouble, I'm so stupid, I might as well just die, or I might as well move out of the house. You don't want me here because I'm an awful kid, right? I'm doing things
Hmm.
so awful. When we're talking about normal discipline, when we're just disciplining our children in a normal way, and they're moving to that, I don't deserve to live, or I don't deserve to live here with you. I need to move out, or I deserve to die. When we hear statements like that, that should be the red flag. Depression is starting. They're moving out of that normal anxiety, or that regular space of anxiety, over into a depressive space. And I'm not saying that means that they're depressed, but they're headed in that direction. And so those statements should all be red flags to really say, hey, what's really going on here? Do we need to delve deeper? Do you need a counselor? Do we need to talk about things deeper and really start to pull them out of that? So the way I pulled my son out of that, coming home from school every day and wanting to put pajamas on and get under a blanket, was, okay, here's your babysitter. Your babysitter wants to talk to you after school, and the only thing she says is she wants to hear about how your school day went. But the only thing she says is you have to be in your school uniform when you call her, because she wants to see how cool your school uniform looks, right? And so you start to slowly pull them out of that.
Hmm.
And so, okay, now he's not putting his pajamas on right away. Maybe it's a little later. And you start to talk to them and get them counseling and really figure out what's going on in their heads. And I know it's not, we're talking about mild depression there. When they are in full on depression, counseling is really, really important. No coaching or mentor is gonna suffice to keep them out of that. And I'm not a counselor, I am a coach, but counseling is really, really vital when they're headed into that deep, dark depression, for anybody, for adults or children.
Yes, I concur. And I've been on both sides of the fence as a clinician, counseling people, and also as a suicide intervention trainer. I train trainers to intervene when it comes to suicide. And I've had cases where I was in Douglasville and I was doing some teaming up with the coroner's office because I started doing some work with local leaders where I was hosting suicide intervention workshops. And lo and behold, we found out one evening in a meeting that a 6-year-old suicided. So it is pervasive, folks.
Breaks
And
my heart.
that's why we have to pay attention and not be afraid to ask questions. How are you doing? Are you having any challenges in school that you're dealing with? Especially when we hear a lot of negative self-talk and when they are having some drastic changes that are just really drastic. They're not the norm for that particular child. And most people, I would like to say, know their children, especially if you're paying attention. You can tell if the child is having any difficulty or having drastic changes or are speaking hopeless, woe is me. And that's not your child. So don't be afraid to ask the hard questions, because the hard question that you ask just might be the question that will save your child's life.
Absolutely. And you'll kick yourself if you don't ask that question after.
Exactly. So I want to say hi to Josh. Josh is a healer, and we're talking about how to help children here today with the phenomenal Melissa Ross. She's an author, she's a speaker, and she also helps people deal with stress. And guess what else she does? She also helps adults with their children by teaching them yoga. Yes, I said it. Yoga. Yoga is so relaxing. So to all the healers out there, go ahead and give Melissa a 4 in the comment block if you know how super important yoga is, how super important it is to be able for people to heal themselves from the inside out. So good to see you, Josh. Thank you for being here. I super appreciate you, as with everyone else on the platform. And Sean had a comment. Sean said, I think I've heard this speaker before, and she inspired me to get my kids starting a gratitude journal. And you know what, Sean, you're probably right, because this remarkable speaker has been on my platform before. We co-authored a book together, and we definitely talk from time to time because we just do. And she's a remarkable person, so that's great. And let's look at what Josh said. Josh is a wonderful healer, and he's also a singer, so the two go really hand in hand. That's great. He said, yes, meditation is a great to attain inner awareness. So meditation is great to attain inner awareness. And he said it's so important. So I'd like to tap on that because you guys are really sending us some questions. We already had some questions that came in, but you guys are making us go a step further, and I love it. So if you guys like the questions that other people are sending and that you're sending, put a 5 in the comment below. So I want to ask you this, Melissa. When it comes to meditation, why is it critically important that people meditate and really become self-aware?
Wow. I mean, meditation, it heals your body from the inside out, and B, it allows us to just be still in this fast-paced world. I mean, we run our children everywhere. We run ourselves to the brink of stress, full-on stress. We run our children before COVID, from activity to activity. School is stressing. When do we actually just lay down and know what our body is feeling and feel what our body is feeling and let it relax? It's so healing. And what we do with kids, when we start kids with that, we actually lay them down to song to begin with. We'll sit them in a seated position, or we'll lay them down on the floor, and we'll start with song, and we'll just allow them to relax with song. And we start them at 2 years old. Our 2 to 4 year olds actually sit in meditation to song, and they do actions. So our little kids are listening to songs, and they're doing actions with the songs, and they're concentrating on those actions. So they're starting with mindfulness, mindful actions with those songs. And that mindfulness is the stepping stone into meditation. But we also start them with breathing. And when I speak to adults about starting meditation, I speak to them about breathing. I give them different breathing techniques, and I ask them to just sit with their breath at first before they actually start formally meditating. I just ask them to sit with their breath and really move through that breath, whatever breath I give them. There's different types of breathing. There's box breathing. There's tons of different types of breathing. So whatever breathing exercises I give them, I have them sit with that breath first before they delve into meditation, because that really allows them to become one with their body. When they're concentrating on that breath, they can begin that way. And so at the beginning of all of our children's classes, we start our children with a breathing ball. And they actually use that breathing ball as a guide to really slow down their breath. And then we do a relaxation at the end of every class. So my Storytime yoga class that I'm running right now, we do breathing and relaxation every single class. When I run my private classes, we actually do a short meditation before our relaxation. We do that meditate to song. And then once the kids get older, I actually have scripted meditations that I've written for the kids. And I give them a guided meditation right before their relaxation. So that way their body is already gotten rid of that stress response. They've already relaxed their body. They've become one with their body. Their breathing is a little slower. And then when they lay down to actually relax and feel what their body is feeling and let their body just melt into the ground, they're there already. I've already gotten there with that meditation. And now there are lots of ways to start kids in that way. Kids can start just being quiet and having a timer on, or they can do a guided meditation. I have two kids, and one of them likes the quiet and one likes to be guided. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be short. Both of my kids do 7 minutes. One puts a timer on for 7 minutes, and she just lays there with her thoughts. She just lays there quietly for 7 minutes, relaxes her body. My son does a 7-minute guided meditation. He's actually guided through a visual relaxation of his body for that meditation.
Fantastic. So you are bringing it. I told you guys she was going to be phenomenal. Note takers are money makers. If you have not gotten your notes and if you don't have your pen and your pad, get a crayon, get your eyebrow pencil. Come on, ladies. I know you got an eyebrow pencil somewhere in your makeup bag, but take these notes because she's giving you golden nuggets. I want to shoot out a special hello to Miss Mariska Norden, all the way from the Netherlands, the co-owner of Ginsky TV. Good to see you here. Thank you for joining the broadcast. I know it's late at night over there, but you're here. I appreciate you. And I'm going to take a couple of comments. She says, hello, Melissa. Great topic. Greetings from Ida and me, Amsterdam. Good to see you. And thank you so much. And let's see. Yep, I got that comment. I want to make sure I'm getting your comments. Sean, the gratitude journals has helped some with my kids lately, and that's great. And Keita Brembry, so happy to see you. Wonderful lady. Now, if you want some reinforcement, you want to be lifted up, Keita Brembry, she's always lifting kids up. She's always doing the most. I knew Keita when I was over in Japan. My niece came over, Melissa, and I tell you, my niece is a teenager, and the teenagers, they want to hang out with teenagers. So Keita took it up on herself because she was like the go-to mom. Okay, military moms, they have that go-to mom. She was the go-to fun mom with the teenagers. So good to see you, Keita. Hope your husband's still doing well. Send him my love, please. Make sure you do that. And we've got some twos in here. And I want to take this comment from Simone. Simone says, I always preach online about helping our children with tools on how to deal with stress and anxiety in their lives. Depression is real in the lives of our children. It breaks my heart when I see a child commit suicide because of these things. So, Melissa, I know you have children of your own. I've talked to your children. They are amazing kids. High five to the kids. Yes. And, I feel what Simone is saying. And this is why we have to really pay attention to our children. So what would you share with parents who may think that their children may have suicidal ideations?
Yeah, absolutely. The most important thing is to let them know that they're not alone, that you're there, that you're not going to be upset with whatever they share, and actually keep your cool when they share that. I know that's hard sometimes. As parents, we're really concerned and sometimes we react, but really, it's so important to let them know that they're not alone. You're there for them. You're there to talk to them. You're not going to be upset with anything that they tell you. It could be anything, the wildest thing, and you're going to deal with that with grace. Even if you get upset about it when you leave their room and when you're done talking to them and you're speaking with your spouse afterwards, it's really, really important to keep your cool and let them know that it is a safe place. You are a safe place to talk about it. Because really, I mean, when we look at that, when we look at what's happening, it breaks my heart, first of all, when I see a child with anxiety and with depression, and when I see children committing suicide. And I just saw in the news just the other day, he was turning 12. He was an 11-year-old boy turning 12. And this was a spunky, wonderful kid who was happy and had tons of friends, but we're in the time of COVID. And this kid had received a computer monitor for his gaming, and he was all excited about it, and he had accidentally broken it. And he had earned his parents' trust back and had earned, done chores around the house and earned a second monitor back. And this little guy was so excited that his 12th birthday was coming up, and he was receiving, I guess, some gaming things. And he was so excited to be upping his gaming with these gaming tools that he was getting for his birthday. And he accidentally broke the second monitor again. And he hung himself. He hung himself, Lotus. It breaks my heart. He was so disappointed in himself that he had done it again and didn't feel like there was anywhere to turn, because he had just, disappointed everyone again in his mind. He didn't feel like he could talk to people about it, and he hung himself. I mean, it just makes me I cried when I read the story. It's just kids are adults as well. We're all just, we just need to know that somebody is there for us. It's okay to share. Nobody's going to get upset with us when we share that. And really, that's when people do that, when adults do that, mostly it's pain. They're numbing pain. They're trying to get rid of pain. And when kids do that, not only are they trying to numb pain, but sometimes they think there's no other way. There's nobody that they can talk to. People are going to get upset if they talk about it, and they're going to be in trouble, and there's no other way. And you have to let them know that there is another way out, and it's not going to numb the pain. It might take the pain away from them, but it's going to pass that pain on to somebody else.
Right. And so when we talk about sharing, two quick things. If you have not liked, shared, and started a watch party, I challenge you to like, share, and start a watch party, and leave a comment down below and let us know if you liked, shared, or started a watch party, because we are talking about a serious issue of, one, how to relieve stress as an adult, but also how to help your children relieve their stress through various techniques such as breathing and relaxation, and script guided meditations, and also just reframing issues when you have them, reframing them, and using the tools that you have to come up with great strategies to deal with the problems that you're facing in a safe space. And we want to make that space safe for our children so they're not afraid. And we cannot be afraid to ask those tough questions, because when we ask those tough questions, it may be their life that we save. So with that being said, I really want to take a couple more comments, because I want to say hey to the Money Doctor. Good to see you, Dexter, all the way out of Texas. Thank you for joining us. I wanted to take this remark from Sean, because Sean said, my daughter said your life would be better without me. She said that at 11 p.m. at night. We sat down and talked until probably 1 a.m. When she said that, it scared me beyond any words. And now, if any of you can relate to that, being so terrified because your daughter, your son, your grandchild, your best friend, your spouse, your significant other, your clergy, your bus driver has said to you, you know what? The world would probably be better off without me, or something like that. That's an invitation. That's an invitation. Has any of you out there had these type of invitations? If so, put in number 6 in the comment below. And then after you put in number 6 in the comment below, tell us how you dealt with that. Tell us how you dealt with that, because that's critically important. And I also want to say, hey, to Josh. Josh got those fours in there. Phyllis got those fours. Angie's got those fours. Phyllis hitting us back with some fives. Good to see him. Good to see him. Hey, Alethea Singleton, it's good to see you out of Augusta, Georgia. And Nikki Hammer, always good to see you. Thank you for joining in. We really appreciate you. And Sean said he saw the broadcast that you saw as well, Melissa. So you see, people around the world saw this and it grieved people. See, because suicide doesn't just affect one person. It affects us all in some shape, form, or fashion. And I wanted to trickle right over to Phyllis's comment. Phyllis said so many kids are overstressed because of extreme testing. Some third graders have thrown up from end of the school testing because they're so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how about your kids? Has your kids seen any of that?
You know what? I don't see them react that way, but my kids have, even with COVID going on right now and online learning, and everybody's trying to really navigate the systems and navigate trying to figure out homework without the teacher right there and asking questions. My
Yes.
kids have had meltdowns, and my kids, they have their strategies in place and they meditate and they do all these things, and they're great, well-grounded kids. But even great, well-grounded kids in these times right now can get that stressed and have meltdowns,
Yes.
and have tears about all of that. So that's why it's so important to have those strategies in place, because when that happens, we know how to deal with it, and so do they. They have the strategies in place to deal with it. Because without strategies in place,
right.
It's mayhem, right?
Yes, it is. And I like what Angela Elton said. She said, children need trusting people they can talk to. So, Melissa, tell us how critical it is to have trusting people that children can talk to. And not only children, let's talk about the adults as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'll tell you a story about that. This is why I got into coaching, because I started my children's yoga business 5 years ago. And almost 6 years ago now, it'll be 6 years this summer. And I had this one guy, he was 10, turning 11 years old, and he came into yoga class. He was so shy and so introverted and was scared of the other kids. He kind of was sitting in a little ball at the door with his yoga mat in his hands. He wouldn't look up at me. And by the end of that 8-week session, I had that guy slowly inching to the side of class and then putting his mat out and then slowly doing a couple poses. And by the end of 8 weeks, he was actually talking to kids. He was relaxing, but in a seated position. And he continued with me for session after session. And even at the point where he turned 11, he would have been moving on to the next age group. He stayed with me. He became my little helper. And when all that was happening, he confided in me. He confided in me that he was being bullied at school. He confided in me that he didn't know how to tell his parents. And he asked me to be there while he told his parents. I was that person for him. And when he did move on to the next age group, it was with another instructor of mine who was teaching it. And she was fabulous and she was trying to reach out, but he didn't have that connection with her. And we ended up losing him. He stopped coming to class. And I really felt like I wasn't getting that one-on-one connection and really making a difference with 20 kids in class. So that's why I certified as a mindset coach and started working with families, because I really wanted to make that difference one-on-one and to let kids know that I'm here for them to confide in that way. When you've got 20 kids running around, it's hard. It's hard to make that one-on-one connection. And I was really losing that as our class sizes were getting bigger. And so that's why I'm doing that. I really want kids to know that they have that connection with me, and it's a safe space, and they can talk about those problems, and we'll find ways to work it out. We'll find strategies.
Yes. And I like what you said, that it's a safe space, because kids need to know, as well as adults, they need to know that it is a safe space. So I challenge those of you that are out there that are in the field, and even those that are not. We have to come together and remember that people just want to be in a safe space where they can share openly, devoid of judgment, and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And let's talk a little bit about the bullying, because we had Phyllis talk about bullying. And as a person who was bullied as a child myself, it really does a number on you. And what I mean is that mentally, emotionally, physically, it literally can make you sick. But not only can it do that, it can cause you not to trust people. It can cause you to be afraid. But on top of that, it can cause you to turn into a bully yourself. So what about the children that are being bullied? How do we help them? How do we stay open to them without them feeling afraid to come and tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to touch on the bully themselves first, though, because what you said is true. When they're being bullied, they turn into a bully. But what I found out about the bully is that the bully is the kid having anxiety and depression because there's stuff going on at home that they're not talking about. They're in
Yes.
victim mindset and they're having that victim mentality happening at home and they're bringing that to school with them and they're bullying because they're in that victim mentality and they don't know what else to do with it. They're having the anxiety and it's not getting talked about. It's not getting addressed. They don't know what else to do with it, so they bully with it because they need some way to feel good about themselves. That's why the bully happens. Okay, so when we have children that are experiencing bullying, that's also when it's really important to start communicating, to start that conversation. What's happening on the school bus? What conversations are happening? How did that make you feel? You know, and really start talking about feelings, getting into emotions. Did that make you angry? Did that make you cry? Did that make you scared? What did you do about it? How did you react to it? Has that been happening for a long time? Is this a pattern? Does that person do that to anybody else, or did they just say that to you? We really need to start talking, digging deep about those feelings, start talking about whether it's our own child's perception of that because it was just them, or is it happening to everybody? Because lots of times I find too, kids will say I'm being bullied by someone, but it's maybe our child is just sensitive and it's their perception of what's going on. I'm not diminishing bullying. I'm just saying we really have to have that conversation, get down to the bottom of it, ask the right questions and talk about feelings and talk about how they can deal with that, what their feelings are and how they can turn those feelings around to put a strategy in place and deal with it. What can we do when it happens? Can we tell a teacher? Can we say no thank you to the bullier? Can we, do we have some other strategy that we can put into place when that bullying's happening? Like, there's that bench over there. That's the safe place with my other friend, Billy. I always go to that safe place when I'm feeling bullied by someone else, right? It's about putting those strategies in place as well.
I concur. And, you know, I had a wonderful guest on, Randy Smalls, and he and his daughter were on the television news. They were in New York on all kinds of shows because his daughter actually was the person bullying another child. And he was a truck driver. He spent a lot of time away from home. But when he came home, he wanted to take his daughter on a shopping spree. But the mother of the child she was bullying reached out to his family and she spoke with Mr. Smalls and his wife and told them that their child was bullying her daughter. And instead of him blowing up, he talked to his daughter and he investigated to find out what's going on. Why are you bullying this young girl? And lo and behold, he said, okay, I tell you what, I was going to take you shopping on a shopping spree this weekend, but instead of taking you, I'm going to take the little girl. So he took the little girl, and what he did was he formed a cohesive bond with a child that had just lost, I think she had lost her grandmother, she lost an uncle, she lost some people in her family that was really close to her, and just things were just going terribly in her life. And I want to say she may have even lost her dad. So to have someone come along and say, okay, my child is bullying your child, I'm not going to argue with you, because a lot of times parents will argue with the parent that's trying to reach out, and just say, you know what, let's see if we can work collectively to get to the bottom of it. And that's what happened with Mr. Smalls. They worked together. Now this child is feeling really different about herself and about humanity. She's able to trust the fact that someone cared enough to hear her story and to come to her rescue. But this is what I love so much. Her mom reached out with love in a loving way. And I think when we reach out in that way, it makes people a little more receptive to the message that we're conveying. Even if the message isn't so, so nice, it still makes it easy to kind of convey the message. So with that being said, if any of you were ever bullied out there and you identify with what we're talking about, and you've been able to overcome the bullying, and you've been able to continue to make substantive change, not just in your life, but in someone else's life, put a number 7 in the comment below. Put a number 7 in the comment below. Okay. So I want to talk to you about a couple of other things. I mean, our viewers, you guys are amazing. You guys have some phenomenal questions. So I really appreciate all the questions that you're asking. And I want to kind of shift gears here, because we both are coaches. We both help people in their private lives to overcome a lot of issues. And of course, we help people in their business lives to overcome issues, because a lot of these things we're talking about, they trickle over into every facet of our lives if we're not careful and if we don't seek help. So I want to invite you to make sure you seek help. If you need one-on-one coaching, both Melissa and I are here for you. Melissa, make sure you reach out to her as well. We work together. It doesn't matter if she's in another state or I'm in another state. She'll pick up the phone and call me and say, Lotus, this person needs this help. Or I'll pick up the phone and call her. Or we might be calling Medea. Hey, Medea, we want to read your book to a group of children, and we're in different countries. But guess what? We work together to make it happen, because that's the only way we're not going to survive. That's the way we're going to thrive. Okay. So if you need one-on-one coaching, make sure you reach out to myself and or Melissa, and let us help you out. If you're having some issues with your child, I tell you, Melissa is phenomenal at doing it. She's great. Have you ever been to her children's yoga? I'm serious. When she comes on, I try to watch her. I try to get down there and do the yoga with her. I tell you, it's phenomenal. You'll have a great time, and your children will too. It's not boring. It's fascinating. But this is the thing, Melissa. How in the world do you do the yoga and you read?
You know what? It's so much fun. So it's called Storytime Yoga. And I created that because I love to put stories with the children's books. And so one of the very first books I read was Medea's book. I read all 3 of the books, and I visualized her book through yoga so that children could connect with her message in her book through yoga poses. And it is so much fun for me because I just get to have my imagination flowing. And, we read a couple pages, and then we look at what's going on in the book, and we decide, hey, that really looks like they're doing this. Let's do this yoga pose. And it shows what's going on in the book. It really gets my imagination flowing. And then we lay down, and the relaxation is always themed around what that story was. And we always do an I am affirmation at the end. And we really affirm what that message was in the book, what we learned from that book. I have so much fun doing it. I really do. I laugh right with the kids, and I can imagine them all falling down in all different yoga poses and having fun with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, I love that, because it's another way where you're reaching out and you're helping kids with the Storytime Yoga. And I looked at a comment a few minutes ago that Phyllis Weaver made. She said, I used to talk to my best friend's mother when I was young. And guess what? Yoga opens up the platform for a kid to say, hey, Miss Melissa, can I talk to you? Why? Because you're doing exactly what Angela Elton said. Children need that individual time to feel valued. And if you're taking that time to do yoga with them, guess what? They're going to feel valued, because you're taking that story time. You're letting them know that it's about them. And then this is what I love that she does as well. She comes all the way down to the floor. And as clinicians, we're taught that to meet them where they are. She comes all the way down to the floor, and she sits and she reads and she does the yoga, and she helps them go deep inside. So if you're looking for somebody that can help you with your children and teach them yoga, that's going to help give them more confidence, help them feel more valued, help them feel more love, and help them keep their cool in the midst of the storm, you definitely want to contact Melissa, because she will be delighted to help you and help your family. She can help all of you deal with your stress and get over it, because it's unequivocal. Stress can lead to bad behaviors, not just in children, but also in adults. So remember that it really can do that. And she's helped many families, deal with stress, because many families are under stress. So make sure you reach out to Melissa, and she will help you help yourself to ignite and take flight and take control of your life. So with that said, we're going to take a quick break. And then Melissa, I can't let you off the show without you talking about your new upcoming book, the other platform you got going on. And those of you that are here with us, stay right there. And don't just stay right there. Make sure you like, share, invite a friend. Also invite a friend of me, because they need to hear the golden nuggets that Melissa Ross is sharing. And we'll be right back. So just hang on tight, okay? And we'll be right back. Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you, so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. So of course, she's got a great new book, Adversity to Adaptability. So let us have the 411 on this new book.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a co-authorship, and my chapter is chapter 8 in the book. It's entitled, I Ran from My Children, Not to Them. And it is the complete story of how I recovered. It was a 2.5-year recovery. I recovered from postpartum depression and anxiety so severe that I couldn't even be in the same room with my newborn daughter. That was in 2011. And I share my entire story open and raw about all of the deep, dark feelings that I was having. I share how one dark night, I actually got in my car, leaving my 2 children behind, and drove to a friend's house, not even sure how I got there, and left my children behind. I walked into her house, and all I was aware of is that her children, the same age as mine, were upstairs sleeping, and I had just left my children behind. And that was the beginning of my depression. I was in a deep, dark hole and had no idea how to get out. And it was a 2.5-year long journey. So I talk about that journey. And then in the second half of the chapter, I talk about strategies. I talk about how to get yourself out of that place and where to go. It's actually called my cornerstone of growth. So when you read the chapter, you can follow my cornerstone of growth and move through all of those strategies to move through the same way I did.
I love it. I love it. So look, folks, if you're having stress, if you're depressed, if you're going through the foibles of life and you just don't know what to do, look right here. Look right here at the face that's looking back at you, because she did it and so can you. And if your children are going through, let Melissa help them. I just, people are looking for ways to help their children. And there are so many ways like never before. But I got to tell you this story time yoga will just sit you right on your bottom. It really will. It really will, because it's going to help you help yourself heal from the inside out with anything that's going on inside you. You don't want to look for the answers on the outside, because they're not there. They're on the inside of you. And yoga is a wonderful way to help start it. And guess what? Not only can your children do story time yoga with Melissa, so can you. And not only can you do it, why don't you tell the story to your kid? Because I tell you what, many children just want to hear a story from their mom and dad. So awesome. So we know about the new book, but there's something else that you haven't shared with us. And I'm going to let the cat out of the bag if you don't. I know that you've got a clarity coach You've got a clarity coach that you do. And I believe this is a new platform. Is this a new platform for you?
It is. I have a new clarity coaching program for stressed out moms, and I've just opened up a bunch of spots. They are going quickly. And Lotus and I were just talking about this before the program. I have 5 spots left for 5 amazing women out there who are ready to step into their power, let go of their mom guilt and shame, find their purpose in this world, and really unleash their inner power. But I'll tell you right now, not every woman out there is ready for this coaching. I'm looking for the woman who is ready to make a difference. The woman who knows that she is a mom and she wants to let go of that perfectionism that society is telling her that she has to have. Let go of that facade that she's showing everybody else and really find out what her purpose is and move into that purpose and create that happy lifestyle that everybody is after, and that all of us, most of us, show people we have and we don't really have. A lot of us are dying with stress inside. A lot of us moms, we're struggling, and especially during this time of COVID and during this pandemic, it has been, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I've been stressed out at times during this pandemic. It's been a stressful time navigating children at home, and some of us are working from home, some of us are out of work. So we're all dealing with different types of stress, but we've all of us with children have our kids at home during this time. We're trying to navigate homeschooling and online learning, and you know, we're trying to be the perfect mom and the perfect person and show everybody that we have this perfect life, and we don't need to. We don't need to do that. We can let go of that perfectionism and have a happy life.
Yep. And you know, I want to say, folks, those of you that need this yoga, that need this coaching, or if you know someone that needs this particular help in their lives, I challenge you to put an 8 in the comment below. Put an 8 in the comment below, and let's see if we can get Melissa connected to you. If you need that help, if you want that help, put an 8 in the comment below. You see that 8? Put an 8 in the comment below, because I got to tell you, if you are a person and you need help with you're getting clarity, let's just talk about it, getting clarity in your life, she's the clarity coach for you, Melissa Ross. She'll help you overcome the fogginess of knowing what your purpose is. She'll help you overcome the fogginess of doing things that you don't really need to do, because it's time for you to work on you, and she'll help you get through. She'll help you get through. And so, Melissa, I want to thank you so much. We're at the top of the hour. Wow, the time went so fast. Oh my gosh. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. We've had such a wonderful time. You've had so many wonderful questions and insights from all of you. Special thanks to all of you from overseas that joined us and all over the country. You folks are amazing. Mariska Norden. Hey, Mariska Norden. Good to see you. I think I said hello to you earlier. I just want to make sure. But it's so great to see each and every one of you each week learning and sharing with all of us, because we are not just the teachers. We are always the teacher and the students. So, Melissa, is there anything you'd like to share before we move forward to the next person that we're about to help?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to say before I go that Lotus put the link up there. It's linktree/Melissa Ross. And if you go to that link, you can find everything there. You can find Storytime Yoga. You can apply to work one-on-one with me in my Clarity Coaching for Stressed Out Moms program. You can direct message me. It has all the links to my Facebook pages and everything there. So you can direct message me from there. Send me an email. I am looking for 5 incredible women out there that are ready to make a change in their life. So please do message me and apply for this program. I'm waiting for you.
And if you, for some reason, don't catch her there, guess what? I got another way you can reach her. Reach out to Melissa at rise2wellness.com. If you can't reach her at www.linktr.ee/Melissa Ross, double check and make sure you reach out to her at this link at Melissa at rise2wellness.com, because she's only got 5 spots and they're going fast. I already know it. So go ahead and claim your spot as you rise to wellness and get linked in to the T that's on the inside of you. You know what I mean when I say the T? It's the true story of what's going on with you, and she'll help you get through whatever you're going to get through and what you're dealing with. So we've got another comment. I want to go ahead and take the quick comment. And thank you all again for being a part of the show. All right. Sean says, great speaker. Yes, she is. She's phenomenal. And Angela Elton said, thank you for sharing, Melissa. Great information. So thank all of you for being so outstanding. And Melissa, thank you again for coming on the show. It's always great to see you. Thank you for all the wonderful things that you're doing with adults and children all around the world. You always make it so wonderful and such a safe place for people to be on board with you. And I got one more comment. It says, don't forget to like, share, and start a watch party. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate you. Yes. And don't forget, like, share, start a watch party. Melissa has dropped so many golden nuggets. It's going to help you help yourself ignite and take flight and take control of your life in every area and phase of your life. If you haven't had the opportunity to like, share, and start a watch party, I challenge you, like, share, and start a watch party. And don't forget, if you need one-on-one coaching, if you need help in any facet of your personal life or your business life, I can help you, along with my wonderful team, go from 0 to hero in a short amount of time on every platform that you're on and in every facet of your business. And then if you need some yoga, if you need to help heal yourself from the inside out, I can help you with that too. But guess what? I know that Melissa is the bomb.com when it comes to the yoga. So you need to check her out on Melissa at rise2wellness.com, and make sure you hit up on www.linktr.ee/Melissa Ross. So Melissa, thank you again for being on my show. It's always a pleasure to have you, and it's always nothing but love for you, honey. So thank you so much, and tell the kids I said hello. And with that being said, always remember to ignite and take flight and take control of every phase of your life. We'll see you next time. God bless you all.
God bless.
Welcome to the Lotus Roche Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life.